Welcome back to another episode of Gaming Bolt, guys. This is Nick, and today we're going to talk about 15 unique mechanics in open-world games. For every open-world game that's released in the past couple of decades, several have stood out for offering unique mechanics and systems. Not only do these change the way the players interact with the world, but they also present entirely new ways to play. Let's take a look at 15 of them right here. Nemesis System, Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. It seemed fairly simple at first. Specific orcs in Shadow of Mordor were randomly generated with different traits, strengths, and weaknesses. Dying to one made it stronger, moving it up in the orc hierarchy, but even failing to secure the kill ensured it would remember you. With tons of different voice lines, interconnected allegiances, and so on, not to mention the ability to influence the same and eventually bend orcs to your will, the Nemesis system became one of the most innovative mechanics in gaming. It was expanded even further in Shadow of War with Nemesis Fortress, bodyguards, betrayals, different classes, and tribes, expanding the web of possibilities even more. Revenge System, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. The abject freedom of the Phantom Pain sandbox ensures that players can try all kinds of methods for completing missions. However, whether it's stealthily infiltrating facilities, taking down all the guards with headshots, or even using the Fulton, the enemy will begin adjusting its strategies in response. Killing too many enemies with headshots means they'll start spawning with helmets. Eliminating guards at night means that more of them will have lights on their guns, and much more. You may even have to deal with enemies that have better weapons, body armor, and additional vehicle reinforcements if you engage in too much combat. This helps encourage alternate means of engagement, which can lead to the other responses being reined in. Chaos Points, Just Cause 2. At a time when many open-world games were about going from A to B or completing different side activities, Just Cause 2 let you progress by simply blowing things up. Vehicles, buildings, objects, you name it. This generated chaos points, which could be used to unlock new missions, weapons, and vehicles. Of course, completing missions and settlements also helped out, but chaos was always at the forefront as one pushed for the highest levels of destruction. Sadly, the impact of chaos points would be dulled in the sequels. Guiding Wind, Ghost of Tsushima. Quest markers and waypoints guiding players to their destination are fairly standard in open-world games. Some can be overly intrusive, while others can be more intuitive, like Ghost of Tsushima's Guiding Wind. Instead of arrows on the road or an ever-present icon, winds would blow in the direction of one's objective. Got lost? A swipe up on the touchpad would see the winds blowing towards your destination again. It was unobtrusive and intuitive while getting the job done, and could even be used for locating different collectibles. Climb Anywhere, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild receives a ton of praise for a number of reasons, be it the sheer breadth of freedom, the potency of its physics system, the feeling of something incredible around every corner, the list goes on. However, much of that wouldn't feel as great without the ability to climb everywhere. It was limited by one's stamina bar, but that meant that making clever use of the environment to restore stamina mid-climb, specific meals, upgrades. For as simple as it sounds, this mechanic was absolutely game-changing. Build Your Own Settlements, Fallout 4. The release of Fallout Shelter somewhat dulled the impact of Fallout 4's settlement system. Nevertheless, it was still a fairly big twist on the series' established formula. Instead of venturing out into the world to find insert family member here, you could also focus on rebuilding and bringing some modicum of order to the world. Creating a functioning community with a steady supply of resources and trade, along with rebuking attacks by bandits and other antisocial elements, all built on the scrap gathered while traveling, proved to be quite a change in pace. Granted, Bethesda would add robots, monster brawls, traps, and the option to sell out your settlement to bandit clans with DLC, but that's a different matter entirely. The Magnum Opus, Mad Max. The Magnum Opus starts out as a replacement for Max's beloved V8 Interceptor and can be upgraded over time. It's both a vehicle and a weapon, capable of ferrying Max and Chumbucket, who can operate weapons in the back, across the wasteland. Upgrading it requires completing different kinds of activities, from reducing the threat level in certain territories to attacking enemy cars in the desert and assaulting convoys. You also need to maintain it, locating fuel and having a jerry can on hand. With the heavy emphasis on driving and the post-apocalyptic scenario, the Magnum Opus felt like both a project and an equalizer when the going got tough. Web swinging, Marvel's Spider-Man. Marvel's Spider-Man is one of the most successful franchises in PlayStation history, despite it still being relatively new. A lot of that comes down to how much the game makes you, wait for it, feel like the friendly neighborhood web-slinger, from his personality and mannerisms to the overall design of Manhattan. But it's the web-slinging that really sells it, capturing that perfect sense of speed and momentum without any loss of fluidity, whether you're slingshotting across rooftops, wall running, or diving as low as possible before swinging again. Design-wise, Insomniac had to ensure that the city had the right amount of anchor points to facilitate all of this, which is especially impressive. Character switching, Grand Theft Auto V. As frustrating as its constant re-releases may have been for some, Grand Theft Auto V has more than earned its place among gaming's greatest. The sheer attention to detail in its world, the level of realism and authenticity given to the NPCs and environments, and the incredible presentation and story still make it a must-play game. It also brought about something completely new in the franchise: character switching, which allowed for changing between Michael, Franklin, and Trevor at almost any time. Quick and seamless, it also played a huge role in the different heists and story missions, expanding on the gameplay opportunities involved. Free Flow Combat, Batman, Arkham series. Batman Arkham Asylum introduced free flow combat, which added a sense of rhythm to the beat-em-up combats as one alternated between attacking and countering foes. This built up the combo meter, which could have different effects, like building up to powerful takedowns. Different enemy types mixed up things significantly as you had to dodge and disarm enemies that couldn't be countered, hop over shielded enemies, and much more, which became more complex in subsequent titles. Humanity, Dark Souls. While Demon's Souls introduced invasions along with soul and human forms, Dark Souls went several steps further with humanity. Losing it didn't reduce your maximum health like soul form, but you would gain increased damage with weapons using chaos upgrades, along with more defense against physical and elemental damage. Its item discovery also allowed for farming certain loots more easily, and most importantly, it made you both susceptible to invasions from Black Phantoms while also allowing you to invade. On top of all of this, it could also be used to increase Estus regained at bonfires. All in all, it was a fairly big change, one that provided a strong advantage for players while carrying just enough risks to spice up the scenarios. Alignments, Fable. Lionhead Studios couldn't fit all of its promised features into Fable when it was released in 2004, but the alignments worked pretty well. Based on whether you did good or bad things, your alignment would change. Helping people, committing crimes, and even eating certain types of food could have an effect. What's interesting is that not only did your character's appearance change, but so did the responses of NPCs, along with the ending. Karma System, Infamous. The karma system in Infamous is kind of like choosing between the light and dark side of the Force. Depending on the kinds of acts performed, either good or evil karma may be earned, along with changing the appearance of Cole in different ways, giving more of a benevolent or chaotic look in the process. Karma also influences the kinds of ability upgrades and side missions available, not to mention the ending. All in all, it offered some unique ways to enjoy the game. Investigation and Interrogation, LA Noire. Rockstar Games is historically known for its open-world escapades, but it's published several unique titles, including Team Bondi's LA Noire. Set in 1947 Los Angeles with Detective Cole Phelps investigating different cases, players set about gathering evidence and interrogating different witnesses. Upon talking to a witness, you could either believe or doubt them, and even accuse them of lying, while presenting evidence to refute their statements. Observing their expressions was key, and the stellar facial animations helped in picking up on certain things besides looking incredible in their own right. Looping, Outer Wilds. Mobius Digital's adventure game is built on a single premise. The solar system will die after 22 minutes. You are not aware of this at first, but once 22 minutes passes in real time, the system's star goes supernova and destroys everything. However, this is where the story really begins, as the player finds themselves trapped in a loop and must struggle to find out what's going on within a given time. Information and discoveries are retained between loops, and as you learn more, the systems open up further with different locations being available at different times. Along with providing an excellent time loop experience, Outer Wilds also established an incredible story and mythos while offering complete freedom to go anywhere. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for stopping by Gaming Bolt. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and don't forget the little bell. You gotta get the bell for the notifications. We'll see you next time on Gaming Bolt.